Following the decision of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to give political parties a week's grace to conduct their primaries and to submit the list of political candidates, the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, has postponed its presidential primary initially scheduled to hold on Sunday, May 29 and Monday, May 30, 2022. The electoral body had given the extension to give political parties time to compile the list and personal particulars of their nominated candidates before uploading same to the INEC candidates nomination portal from June 10 to June 17, 2022. INEC's National Commissioner and Chairman of Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, who announced the extension on Friday in Abuja, said it was in response to the pressure of political parties. Joining us now on the show from our Abuja studio to clarify INEC's extension of party primaries is Dan Iwuanyanwu, National Chairman, Zenith Labour Party, ZLP. Good morning, Mr. Iwuanyanwu, and thank you very much for joining us on the morning show today.
Thank you, Dr. Ruben Abati. My pleasure.
Thank you very much. Well, quickly, there is a version of the story out there that the Inter-Party Advisory Council was invited at the last minute on Friday after the APC had shifted again its presidential screening process, and that it was the meeting that was held with INEC and then led to the 6-day extension of the deadline for primaries. Was not really at the instance of IPAC, but it was at the instance of INEC. And questions have been raised about bias and suspicion. What is the truth?
Yes, Dr. Ruben, I thank you for having me. I also greet your colleagues there. Tudu, how are you? Were you not the same person we worked together in Chief Rotimi Williams' chambers?
The one and only. Nice to see you. Good morning.
Yeah, my pleasure seeing you again. Good morning. Now, let me give you the background, Dr. Ruben, to where we are now. During the second consultative meeting with INEC, which was on the 10th of this month, the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, the political parties were worried with the timetable released by INEC. We said, okay, we have a long time to go. INEC could give us, 2 months. We started with 2 months. And this was presented to INEC in that consultative meeting. INEC, we pleaded with INEC to look at the timetable. We are getting into a new system that we are going to have long campaign months, unlike before, and that we will have nothing to lose if we are not infringing on the position of the law. INEC also pleaded with us to understand its own position, that a change in any of the dates will affect all the programs of the election. We insisted. In fact, in that meeting, for the very first time, all the 18 political parties' chairmen, secretaries were present. The PDP National Chairman, Dr. Yochi Ayo, was there. The PDP National Secretary, Senator Samdadi Nemeka Anyanwu, was there. The APC National Chairman, His Excellency, Alhaji Adamu, was there, Senator Adamu. His secretary, Senator Mishere, was there. Every political party spoke on this subject. In fact, when the Zenith Labour Party was making its own presentation, we thanked the APC and PDP for attending the meeting for the very first time collectively, and that we got members to clap for them and appealed to them to be attending such meetings, because usually they don't attend, whether IPAC, INEC, they just send people to represent them. But that meeting, because of the matter on ground, they all participated. We left. But before we left, His Excellency, Chairman of APC, Senator Adamu, asked our next chairman, what are we going back with? Give us a takeaway. Our next chairman responded, you have made your presentation. We have also appealed to you. Let us go back and look at it. So we're expecting that something would happen that will favor the political parties. Then we got to the primaries. Primaries kicked off. That concludes that our request for 2 months or 1 month will not work. So we started looking at the whole law. Let me say for the first time, I, Iwuanyanwu, chairman of Zenith Labour Party, I identified that window between the 4th and the time of uploading candidates. I called the chairman of IPAC. I said, why, son, come and see. Look at this window. It will disturb nothing. Can't we also ask INEC, look at the documentation. Look at what we are doing. We have a lot of work to do. Submit this, submit that. We are not used to this system. And you know the workings in the states. Not everybody is computer literate. We have to be forced now to get people in those states, which is difficult for younger parties. At times, they send you what you didn't ask for. Most of them have sent these things to the states. We have to get them back to send to INEC. I said, let us look at this window. Let us ask INEC if this one will also hurt them. So, Gabaji, IPAC chairman, said, chairman, this is good. Let us consult. We started reaching party members. They said, very good. Call INEC, we want to see them today. INEC said, for what? We say it is important. But we have not gotten your letter. We rushed a letter into INEC for a meeting at 3:30. That was last Friday. That meeting was at the instance of Inter-Party Advisory Council. It has nothing whatsoever to do with INEC. And that was why, when in the meeting, INEC did not sit where they used to sit. They sat opposite the parties. And it was the IPAC chairman that opened the meeting, unlike consultative meetings where INEC chairman would speak first. So that meeting was at our instance. We presented this matter to INEC. INEC looked at it, argued. We represented it. Everybody spoke. Then we adjourned for session, re-session. INEC said, okay, I will meet together and get back to you. That was how these 6 days, which they are calling extension, this period was lying fallow like a farm. And we pleaded with INEC, allow us to cultivate in this farm that is lying fallow. That was between the 4th and the 10th or so, 9th or so, which INEC later obliged because it will do no harm to anybody
right,
or to any
Mr.
political party.
Thank you for clarifying.
Without prejudice, just a minute to know.
Okay.
I haven't finished that point, please.
Okay, go
so
ahead.
So it has nothing, without prejudice to what has been done, which cannot be undone. But for whatever that has not been done, can move to that point. Then some political parties started making some shift. I listened to a professor last night. I normally watch Dr. Ruben Abati up to 1 a.m. or so. About that time, midnight or 1, a professor was saying that this thing was done to favor APC. And that only APC has succeeded in benefiting from it because they have shifted. That is not true. That is not correct. Yours sincerely speak to you now. We have also moved our dates. Our governorship primary is supposed to be today, but we have moved it to the 1st. Our presidential primary was supposed to be on the 1st. We have moved it to the 4th. About 7 other political parties have done the same. So it is very erroneous for people who have no information, who do not know how political parties are doing their things. You just pick something from the street, you heap it on INEC. If there is anybody to be blamed, blame us, the political parties. But you cannot blame us because you are ignorant of what we are doing. INEC has no hand in this. And I'm saying it in all sincerity.
Well, you just answered one of the questions I was about to ask you. The impression does linger. There's some dark suspicions in people's minds that the postponement was not for the benefit of IPAC, of which the APC is a member, but that the postponement was specifically for the benefit of the APC. But you have just addressed that, emphatically now. However, like you just said, you are accepting the blame as political parties, which I guess the general public has no problem heaping.
It is not a blame.
On political parties. But if I could finish, INEC is still going to be blamed. You'll recall, Mr. Iwuanyanwu, in the past in this country, when we've had to postpone elections, postponements of any kind do tend to make the electorate a bit skittish. People are generally quite nervous, as it is, with regards to elections. We see voter apathy, and now there's an impression that the independence of INEC has been compromised. How should INEC and the political parties address this?
Tudu, that is another erroneous impression. Having cleared the fact that INEC has no hand in this, it is our deed, that of the independent, that of IPAC. When I say blame, those blaming INEC cannot even blame us because they have no idea of what we are suffering and what we are going through. And that's why I clearly stated that that meeting was at our own instance. But Tudu, you should know that you are the most critical stakeholder in this project. If there is no political party, there will not be INEC. INEC cannot afford not to listen to political parties. Others are attachments to us. Clear the political parties, INEC has no business being there. So INEC must listen to the political. If we call for another meeting today, INEC will listen to us today. Because we are doing the same thing. As per blaming INEC, as per, talking about, yes, there are circumstances, you are a lawyer, there are special circumstances that will warrant certain things to be done. We have seen it all over. But this INEC, you know why IPAC is having this rapport with INEC? It's not because they are supporting INEC anything. We have a man at the head who has brought reforms in the conduct of elections in Nigeria, who is committed to having free, fair elections and credible elections. We have seen it in him, and that's why we are cooperating. After all, he rejected our 1 month, 2 months request for extension. We saw it, that it will involve asking for more money because all these things are put in place. If certain things have deadlines or timelines, they will be affected. So it is not that INEC, people should stop throwing stones when they don't understand issues. I have always said that if you cannot say the truth, just keep quiet. If you don't understand any issue, don't talk about it. I am talking as an insider. I'm talking as somebody who understood the system and who still understands the system. I know what it is. Okay. I know what we are passing through, Tundu. Okay. So it's not INEC business. It is our business. Okay. Let them fight us. And we tell them that they cannot fight us because they don't understand what we are doing.
Mr. Iwuanyanwu, I am really shocked at you coming here to vociferously defend INEC this morning. I mean, now it doesn't even make sense to me. Now I feel like, and this is how most of the Nigerians are feeling now, that now I feel like there's a connivance. Now I feel like there's something going on that we're not being told about. Because a couple of months ago, the work we kept on hearing from INEC is that the dates are firm. Sort of like, let me use the analogy, locked and loaded. Nothing will change the dates. We will not shift the dates for anything. We will not shift the date for anything, for the political parties. And we all concluded that by 3rd of June, we'll be able to get candidates out on time. And now you said IPAC went on this rigmarole with INEC, and all of a sudden, the diamond it overnight, they changed the dates, and you want Nigerians to feel like there's nothing involved? Why wasn't this done long ago? Okay. So you can't come here and allegedly pee on our backs and tell us it's raining at the same time. Now, a lot of Nigerians, the feedback is they're scared of these elections. There's something up your sleeves that you're not telling all of us. And all of this, and I'm even shocked that I thought you would have allowed INEC to come do the PR job themselves. What is really going on here? The people need to know.
Okay. Let me answer you. My brother, you have the right to be shocked.
Yes.
You also have the right to be embarrassed.
Embarrassed is the word.
I don't know how to call white. I don't know how to call white black. And you know my antecedents.
I don't know your
antecedents. What I have told you is the truth. Okay, you can look for it. I have told you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Why should I believe you?
And it is erroneous too. For you, can you let me speak and listen to you?
Yeah, go ahead.
My response. I have told you too, we are not defending INEC because this thing is being pushed to create an impression that the election will not be fair, free and fair. If INEC start doing anything funny, we'll be the first to attack. We cannot be working for APC. I'm going to have a presidential candidate. Is it commonsensical that I'll be working, or IPAC members will be working to favor a party we are trying to put candidates to remove from office? It doesn't make sense to me. The sensible thing to me is that we must try as much as possible to have a system or to have that opportunity to do the things right. I don't know how many Nigerians, those that have spoken, have gone through the new provisions in the Electoral Act. It is not about defending anybody. Iwuanyanwu, in particular as a person, I don't defend anybody. I speak the truth as it is. And if you go to that public, they will tell you that is who he is. I am saying, and I want you to understand it too, if you belong to that group of Nigerians, that the meeting of Friday was as instance of INEC. INEC did it without talking to anybody, apart from the political parties amongst themselves for themselves, that we must use this window. Okay. Zenith Labour Party has benefited from that window. Other political parties have benefited from that window. Anybody can reach any conclusion. But we know we are doing the right thing. We are going to monitor the processes to make sure that this election is free and fair and that it's credible. If there's anything, if, for example, there is a supervening event in this timetable, wouldn't it be jettisoned? So we should not, nothing is cast on stone unless we are living under the rock that we have refused to use our head to appreciate these difficulties I'm talking about.
Okay.
There is no need to blackmail them that we're working for INEC. Nobody's working for INEC, okay. And I want you to take it to the bank.
Okay, Mr. Iwuanyanwu, we have very limited time, but I need you to respond to two quick things as briefly as possible. Originally,
thank you.
IPAC wanted a window of 30 to 67 days extension. What you've been able to get is just 6 days. Compare 6 to 67, compare 6 to 30. I'm sure that initial request was based on certain calculations. What is the guarantee that members of IPAC, that's all the 18 political parties, will even be ready by this new deadline of June 17? And then second, what do you say to the agitation by certain groups in civil society that they're surprised that the energy that IPAC has put into this extension of deadline for primaries, they've not seen the same energy being put into the extension, proposed extension by civil society groups of one, online registration, which will expire deadline May 30, and also continuous voters registration deadline of June 30. And they are saying, you know, the political parties should also be more interested in empowering voters to have the opportunity to get registered. Quickly, please.
Well, Dr. Ruben, yes, we did not get 67 days, we did not get 30 days. But where I come from, there is a saying, if you are pursuing a rabbit and you are unable to catch the rabbit, but you hold the rabbit, you know when you hold the rabbit, you didn't hold the rabbit well, it will cut off the tail for you. Then show people the tail to prove that you are nearly catching the rabbit, that the rabbit was almost in your hands. Yes, we didn't get 30 days, we didn't get 67 days. But, Dr. Ruben, we worked over the weekend in my party. We have achieved a lot during this period. Ditto other political parties. So, and whether we are ready now or not, those dates as put by INEC will go on. And IPAC will no longer ask for anything other than going into the election. So let nobody be in doubt that this thing, we are not going to be ready, we are not, it is, that date, it has not affected the date of election. Nothing has been affected. It's just this window that we have free 6 days. We say, okay, leave us these 6 days. It has not affected anything. In addition, let me not forget, we had to undergo some trainings on the new system of uploading names of candidates. We are starting the training for each from a political party. I will personally be also in that training because there are some complications that there will be rejects all the time from the system. So you better go there with computer literate people so that they will understand it. Those trainings will start on Thursday. So we want to be ready and be ready perfectly. On the issue of dissipating energy, well, Dr. Ruben, and for my friend who doesn't know my background, I started agitation at the age of 20. Labor is my background. All my life I've been involved in fighting for the poor, the oppressed, the cheated, the hounded. And I have never stopped. Even the law that I studied, I'm using the instrumentality of law to enhance that struggle. So nobody can tell me about struggle. Nobody can tell me about the agitation. We know those that are real. We know those that are not real. Political party is not a trade union. Political party cannot be involved in a trade, even though at times we give tacit support on some activities of civil society organizations. So what we are saying in effect is that they do their own, we do our own. At a point, we march to arrive at a position. We should not be dragged into trade unionism, even though most of us are as I am. Since 1980, I have been involved in this movement, and nobody can take that away from me. I am not a character that pretends. I don't pretend. I shoot. When I want to shoot, I shoot. I don't talk. So that is the position. We know what we are doing. We know what we are suffering. From what we have put in place with INEC, this election will go on. It will be free and fair and credible. Any attempt, we will shout and tell Nigerians. And that is the truth.
Okay. I like that phrase from that famous movie. If you want to shoot, shoot. Don't talk.
Yeah.
Anyway.
When I want to shoot, I shoot. I don't talk.
Yeah, you see the cowboy hat.
Yeah.
You know.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Yeah, that's my signature.
Of course.
I wasn't putting it on when we were in Chief Rotimi Williams' chambers.
But I saw it.
That would have been against the dress code.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much, Mr. Iwuanyanwu, for joining us.